Hi, I'm Dave from Mamava. Today I'm going to show you how to level an ADA or original lactation pod and share some helpful tips along the way. Your Mamava pod is equipped with casters to move your pod short distances, but once the pod is in place, it should be on its leveling feet. A level pod is important to ensure that the door closes properly and that moms can engage the deadbolt to lock the door. You'll know you need to level your pod if you're experiencing any of the following issues. There are gaps around the door isn't closing or the deadbolt isn't latching properly, the door is rubbing against the door frame. Leveling your pod may resolve all of these problems and make sure it's fully functional for moms. Hot tip: it's a good idea to level your pod anytime you move it to a new location to prevent misalignment. You can level a pod by yourself, but it's easier and more fun with a friend. It should take about 15 minutes to complete. In this video, I'll show you how to prep for the leveling process, access the hardware, level the pod, and test your pod to make sure it's working correctly. To get started, you'll need a few tools. You'll need a level, the longer the better, a 9/16 socket wrench. Hot tip: an extension for your 9/16 socket wrench comes in handy. A 5.5mm Allen wrench. Hot tip: we recommend light working gloves as some of the edges are sharp. Hot tip: you may need a small stepladder to reach the top of the pod. Now, I'll show you how to access the leveling hardware behind the beauty panels inside your pod. First, enter your pod. Then, remove the adhesive covers on the beauty panels and stick them next to the rotolock holes for now. Use your Allen wrench to unlock the rotolocks. Hot tip: the right hole unlocks with a counterclockwise rotation, and the left hole unlocks with a clockwise rotation. Next, carefully pull the beauty panels out, starting with the top flange, then unhook from the bottom. Behind each beauty panel, you'll find the red bolts that are the top of the leveling feet. There are 4 leveling feet on each side, 2 in the channel closest to you, and 2 right behind them. Now I'll walk you through the leveling process. The first step in leveling is to check the alignment of the pod as it sits on its casters. You want to make sure that the leveling feet are completely off the floor. To do that, unscrew all 8 bolts by turning them counterclockwise to raise the feet. You may need to start with your socket wrench if they're hard to turn. When the bolts easily turn by hand, you'll know they're off the floor. Next, place your level on top of the header. The level will show you which side of the chassis you need to raise or lower. It's helpful to write down the adjustments you need to make. Repeat this leveling process on both the right and left graphics caps. Again, continue to note any adjustments you need to make. Hot tip: it's helpful to have a second person outside the pod to check the alignment. Now it's time to lower the leveling feet by hand until you feel them touch the floor. You'll know you've hit the floor when you can't turn them anymore. Then use the socket wrench to lower the leveling feet according to your adjustment notes. Start first with the feet on the inside channel on both sides of the pod before you adjust the feet on the outside channels. Lowering the feet will raise that portion of the chassis. Repeat the leveling process until everything is level. Now lower the feet in the outside channel until they make contact with the floor. The adjustments you made to the inner feet should guide these adjustments. The last thing I want to show you is how to test your pod to make sure it's ready for moms. Check the door to see if it opens and closes easily. Make sure the deadbolt engages smoothly. If there are any issues, retake your level measurements and adjust the leveling feet accordingly. Once everything is level and functioning properly, reinstall the beauty panels underneath the seats. Hook the bottom flange onto the chassis first, then slide the top flange between the chassis and the seat. Lock the rotolocks with your Allen wrench and cover the holes with the adhesive patches. Your Mamava pod is now ready to go. If you have any questions, our customer experience team is here to help. Call us at 802-347-2111.